insider information on the defending NFC North champion Detroit Lions. With insight from Detroit sports media legend Terry Foster and rising star Matt Broder. Get ready, Detroit. It's now time for Woodward and Maine.
Thank you very much, Sneaky Pete. Welcome to the Woodward and Main Street Show. But we're supposed to call it just Woodward and Main.
It's kind of whatever flows out of your mouth there.
Okay.
You know, Woodward it's
and
meeting
Maine.
up of Woodward Sports, Lions, Maine. A little combination here, a little intersection here on a Sunday morning.
Well, welcome to your first thing of Lions show, of Lions football today.
Across the entire state of Michigan. This is the first show.
First show talking about the Lions. Now, I'm going to skip my soliloquy.
Okay.
Because we got a little news on the edge rusher.
You going off script here, T-Foss?
Yes. The Lions have called the Cleveland Browns about Zadarius Smith.
Okay.
Edge rusher.
Oh, we see that tweet up from Adam Schefter right now, confirming what you're saying. They're calling the Browns about Pro Bowl defensive end Zadarius Smith, who he reminds us has already played in the NFC North for both the Packers and the Vikings.
Is he trying to play for every team in the division?
He must. He's got the inside scoop on all of them.
Another sign that the Lions are serious about winning this whole thing.
They are.
And Brad Holmes gets questioned all the time. Oh, is he really serious about this? You just don't pick up the phone and make a trade. It takes a while, and then it takes two to tango.
Right.
And there's a lot of teams who have good edge rushers, and they don't want to part with them, and they have to lose games. So you can't hold a gun at somebody's head and say, "Give me your edge rusher," or else.
No, you got to do some courting. You got to go. You got to massage the GM's ego a little bit. You also might need to do some undercover work with the player and his agent.
You know what I like about this?
What?
They're dealing with the Cleveland Browns, who are, in my opinion, knuckleheads.
I have the same opinion as
They
you.
should be able to get a good deal for Zadarius Smith.
Are you happy with Zadarius Smith? Like, if that's the trade that goes down, is that something? Would that move the needle for you?
It would move the needle for me. Now, what I'm looking for, I know you need him for this season, but I'm looking down the road, pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson. So that'd be a pretty formidable 1-2 punch.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, Terry, he has another year under contract. So he's got 2 years left on his contract, and it looks like a void year in 2026. So you're not just trading for a 1-year rental. When Hutch comes back, you got a bookend on the other side.
Correct. And knowing Brad Holmes, he'll probably get him to take a pay cut.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Brad Holmes is he might have to get a little. Well, maybe not with Zadarius Smith, but like you're going after a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby. I think we have to drop the Max Crosby dream.
Max Crosby, I have officially given up on that horse.
Yeah. It's not I would love for him to come home, but it's time to pivot to the Browns, to Zadarius Smith, and Myles Garrett should still be on the table. Like, why wouldn't you go get him?
Maybe they don't want to trade him.
The Browns?
Yeah.
Of course they don't want to trade him. He's arguably
Well, how about this? How about they won't trade him?
I think there's a better chance the Browns trade him than the Raiders trade Max Crosby.
Okay, so we're talking about 0% as compared to 2%. That's still a tiny, tiny, tiny sliver, bro.
That is small. How about 10%?
I don't think it's 10.
And normally, that 8% doesn't exist with a player like Myles Garrett. But here's the kicker. But their quarterback's Deshaun Watson. They owe Deshaun Watson, $300 million more? They are in as big of a mess as any professional sports franchise right now.
Correct. But what did I say about them?
What?
Knuckleheads. They are knuckleheads. They still think they can win in Cleveland. They still think they have Myles Garrett and Deshaun Watson that they can still win.
They think they can win. Does Myles Garrett think they can win? Because
Well,
Myles Garrett's the type of player that you speak up, you can get the trade you want. Amari Cooper's gone.
Maybe he's cool in Cleveland.
He might be. But I imagine if I'm a football player, if I'm a competitor, Terry, which you know Myles Garrett is, that's why he's so great. You don't want to waste your prime in Cleveland. Matthew Stafford didn't want to waste his prime in Detroit.
Well, look how long it took him. It wasn't like after year 6 he said, get me out of here. It was like after year 12.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett is a beast. Like, he takes hits every game. Matthew Stafford took hits because the Lions' offensive line was horrible. But Myles Garrett, he plays with violence every single game. He is the best defensive player, arguably, in the league. One of the best over the last 5-10 years. I think Brad Holmes, I think he needs to get romantic with it. I think he needs to go up to Myles Garrett in his camp, say, excuse me, Mr. Garrett, like, you look like you love me.
So you should tamper.
Yeah. You say, Myles Garrett, you look like you want me, to want you to come on home.
So
come to
He
Detroit.
should get fined and lose draft picks.
Want me. Gonna have to give up draft picks anyway, especially according to Mike Tannenbaum.
And get nothing.
You get nothing.
Yeah, you can't tamper, man. You can't.
There's ways around it. Hey, Myles Garrett, his agent goes up to the Cleveland Browns front office. Hey, can we explore a trade? Happened with Devontae Adams.
You know what? I never knew that you were a rule breaker.
See, Terry?
I always thought you're just nice, little, cute guy. And here, I'm Matt Broder, and I love everybody. And here, let me give you a hug. You're a rule breaker.
Sometimes. You need to at least bend it. If it don't break,
okay,
bend it.
I learned something today.
But Zadarius Smith, I would be a fan of that move. He's 32. Go bring him home. The question is, do they need one more? Do they need one more player? Is Zadarius Smith enough?
Well, you can't totally fix a team in the middle of the string. You can do it during the offseason. You know, the Lions are a very good team. We're talking about the Lions being dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think I wouldn't trade for 2 edge rushers.
Okay.
I get the one, and
you wouldn't do. Did you see the Mike Tannenbaum trade? You know, the former Jets GM on First Taker, a ESPN show earlier this week.
Why don't you inform me?
I'll inform you. So Mike
everybody.
Tannenbaum goes on the show, and he has in full. He was serious, completely serious. He goes, a trade proposal. The Lions get Myles Garrett. The Browns get the Lions' next 3 first-round picks, a 2026 second-round pick, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
So, hell no.
This is a former GM on a national network putting that out there.
Are you asking me would I do that?
No, I'm asking you how absurd, like, would you do that? I think I know your answer.
Hell no.
Yeah.
That's way too crazy, especially if you can get Zadarius Smith for much cheaper.
Right? How do you put something like that out? Like, there's nothing realistic. No, he doesn't understand. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's another first-round draft pick. Like, that's part of the magic of this team.
Right.
I don't get it, man. Assuming Mike Tannenbaum had his wisdom teeth out at some point in his life, that was probably the smartest thing to ever come out of his mouth. Right. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but who on this team is untradeable? You can't trade Goff, or you wouldn't trade Goff. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't trade Hutchinson, even though he's injured. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't trade Gibbs either.
No.
I'd trade Montgomery ahead of Gibbs.
I would too. I wouldn't trade Montgomery, but I would trade him before Gibbs
if I had to.
Yeah, Terry.
Penei Sewell, you don't.
No Penei.
Don't call me about that.
No Frank. No Laporta. There are a lot of. No Brian Branch. We're going to talk about some of these guys.
Ragnow may not be on the untouchable list because he's got bad toes. And
true,
stuff.
But there's some magic around him too. Like, he's a guy he's a Lion for life. Even if his play regresses, he's got to be a backup in 2 years or something. He's a guy you don't trade. It's like trading Chris Spielman. It's like trading.
You know what Ragnow's like? He's probably the guy that cuts his toe off so you can play.
Yes. That's the exact player Dan Campbell wants on this team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exact player that will lead this team to a Super Bowl. Terry, I got one more trade proposal. Actually, it's not a trade proposal. It was a thought I had. We were discussing it very briefly before the show, but
it's dumb. But go ahead.
Would you trade for another tackle, for a backup tackle? And I say that with, I want to know your level of concern with Taylor Decker. Is this stretch? Is he just playing?
Dude, why
bad?
did you freak out about one game?
I'm not.
I have told you sample size. Do not
Bring it.
freak out because of sample size. This is something new with young kids. They see one bad series, one bad game. So, oh, shoot, we got a problem here.
It's more than one bad series and one bad game. There has been he just signed a big contract, and there have been a couple stretches here where Goff has been on his back way too often. And we got marshmallow jerseys today. We're going to see every grass stain that could possibly happen. We're going to see what Jared Goff's jersey looks like at the end of this game. I'm not saying we need a new starting left tackle. We don't. I happen to believe that Taylor Decker, it's more technique. There's something he's struggling with right now, or he's a little banged up. But I think he's going to figure it out. What I worry, and this thought that came to me, was what happens if he gets hurt, or what happens if he has to miss, 2, 3, 4 games. Right now, your backup left tackle is Dan Skipper, and then Gio Manu. Like, I'm cool with Skipper for a game. I am. But I don't know about 3, 4 games.
All right, let me get this straight. You want to make a trade in case somebody gets injured.
Yeah, I do.
Then why didn't the Lions trade for Zadarius Smith before Hutch got injured?
Because they thought we had a whole, like 8 other edge rushers on this team have gotten hurt and are out for the Davenport, Kaminsky, Pascal's banged up. We got Isaiah Thomas getting valuable minutes. I don't know if they're going to go get a tackle, but when I see Cam Robinson go to the Vikings after they lose Darisaw for a 6th-round pick,
So they made the trade after he got injured?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But unfortunately, the trade deadline's in 48 hours.
I wouldn't do it. No.
Okay.
Don't trade for someone. Now, here's what you said. You said Taylor Decker's had a tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
He's a starting left tackle for now.
Mm-hmm.
But he could get injured, so I got to make a trade to bring in a backup left tackle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
What?
There's a possibility he won't get injured.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't get injured. I'm not praying for that.
You know what you are?
What?
You're the little scared guy in the no, you are. You're the little scared guy that goes to the little haunted house.
Yeah.
And you're screaming and hollering. The monster hasn't said boo yet.
It hasn't.
And you're already scared.
I see what can happen when a player like Hutch gets hurt and we have no pass rush at all. We got nothing. That's why we need to go get an edge rusher. How about we get ahead of it? For less than a 6th-round pick?
Why don't the Lions trade for a quarterback? Jared Goff get injured.
I think if you have a strong enough offensive line, if Goff has to miss 3-4 weeks, Hendon Hooker can take you to 2-2.
You know what? I think the Lions should trade for Ezekiel Elliott.
No.
Because Montgomery and Gibbs could get hurt.
And I like Vaki and I like Craig Reynolds to fill in. I like those guys. Manu can't be on the field this year.
Okay.
So you got Skipper and then Colby Sorsdale. Christian Mahogany is coming back. I'm really excited to see him. He's not a tackle, but I don't know. I know Jared Goff and a stick of chapstick, Terry. They're both elite. They're both the most comfortable in clean pockets, and that needs to be priority number 1. Make sure that pocket is clean, especially in a game like this today, Terry, against the Packers, who, although their defensive line and front 7 hasn't been, they're talented, but they haven't produced like maybe I expected. They got a new defensive coordinator. Their number 1 goal today is going to get to Jared Goff, make him uncomfortable.
You know what? You started the show as a thug because you just want to break rules and do whatever the hell you feel like doing. Now you turn into a worm boy.
It's tough to beat a worm from the dirt, Terry.
You want to make a trade out of fear.
No.
For something that no, my ass.
No.
It is fear.
It's not out of fear. It's out of us being a Super Bowl contender right now. I'm roll the tape back to last year. Trade deadlines for me, it's trust in Brad Holmes. It's whatever he does, I'm cool with. This team is gonna be in the Super Bowl. This team deserves to have every I dotted and every T crossed. So when they get to the playoffs, they have their best team on the field against
You realize
Patrick
that's
Mahomes.
impossible. Every team in the NFL has a flaw because of the salary cap.
Yes.
But you're running scared now, and the monster hasn't said boo yet. This is Broder going, oh, my God, oh, shoot, I'm scared. And then the monster goes, boo.
I'm not even looking under the bed. I'm building a barricade around the bed so that monster can't come out and say boo. Because if your one flaw is the offensive line, that is a serious problem. You can make up for edge rushers, a pass rush. I don't think you should. I think you got to go address that. But if you can't keep Jared Goff upright, you're not winning the Super Bowl. And I love Jared Goff. I don't want to say that, but if he gets dirty, you lose. If he turns the ball over, you lose. That's it.
True, but
That's
you
it.
still have a starting left tackle. He was a turnstile for one half last week,
I like that word.
and then he kind of got his act together, so he wasn't that bad. But old Broder, the young guy, Mr. Panic. Can we call you Panic Broder?
You call me Panic Broder, but I'm the one picking the Lions to win by 15 every week in the 30s. Like,
You know why? No, that doesn't count because you're a homer. That's why you do that.
I'm an honest analyst,
No, you're not.
an
Dude,
analyzer.
Are the Lions going to go 16-1 this year?
No.
But you're going to pick them to win every game.
Yeah. Because there will be games that they should win that they lose later in the season. But looking at the game today, I'm picking the Lions to win. Looking at the Texans game next week, unless Goff gets hurt, St. Brown gets hurt, I'm picking the Lions. They should win every game the rest of the year. They're not going to, though.
And you know why you're picking the Lions?
Not because I'm a homer. Because they're the best team in the NFL.
That and you love you some Detroit Lions.
I do. I'm not going to shy away from that. I love me some Detroit Lions. They're fun to watch. They're exciting. They got guys like Kerby, Joseph that have personality oozing out of their veins. Dan Campbell's their head coach. I actually love everything about this team.
Okay.
I don't love everything about all 17 weeks. They're going to lose at least 3. They win today, we can start talking about a 14-3 Lions team.
You could.
It's a real deal. You take care of Minnesota on the road, Green Bay on the road. You get those 2 at home, and the Bears, 2 games against the Bears. This team should win every game. They're not going to.
Now, if the Lions go 14-3, that means they must lose 2 more games. And after each one of those losses, we're going to have panic in Detroit.
Yeah. Panic. That's why I might as well go get your depth at the trade deadline right now. Wow. Depth. We talking about depth? But Terry, is there a rivalry brewing between the Packers and the Lions? Is this something that is moving forward into the rivalry category?
Bro, you said, is there brewing?
Brewing.
It's already brewed, brother.
You think so?
Oh, hell yeah.
You told the story last week about when you used to talk to the Lions players in the locker rooms, and it's a little bit of Vikings, a little bit of Bears, Packers, Cowboys. But you think right now, if you pulled that locker room, most of them would say it's a rivalry now.
Well, the fact that the Lions went in and beat Green Bay and knocked them out of the playoffs, that adds to it. And the fact that Green Bay players have said things that are disrespectful to the Detroit Lions, that adds to it. This has already been brewing. I don't know where you've been.
I don't think it could have been a rivalry before the Lions got good, before the Lions had some consistent success.
But they've been good.
They have been good. That's why it's a rivalry now. These are the 2 teams that were expected to win the NFC North.
I agree with you, but you were saying, is it brewing? Is it developing? No, it's already developed, bro. The picture has been, boom.
Fair. I don't think it was a rivalry last year. I think this game, it's the first game since last year that we're seeing the rivalry in front of us. They went to, remember the first game last year? Thursday Night Football. Lions travel to Lambeau. Was it week 4? And Lions fans took over Lambeau Field. It was a sea of blue and a little bit of yellow. That's part of this rivalry growing. I want to ask you in a second.
But
look
I
at
think
that.
it was a rival.
Look at that blue
last year. Yeah.
That is Green Bay. That is not Ford Field.
You don't think that pissed Green Bay people off?
I think it definitely pissed Green Bay people off.
So this rivalry is already brewing. Is what I'm trying to say.
I think if the Lions lost this game, and you can take that
Yeah,
down,
I got
Pete,
you, bro.
I think, Jared Goff on ESPN right now. If the Lions lose that game in Green Bay in front of all their fans, I think the Green Bay sort of laughs at the Lions still. I think Green Bay fans laugh at the Lions and the Green Bay organization. Gutenkunst, he has all the ammo to keep fight. We don't hang up NFC North championships, blah, 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 blah. If they lose that game, it's not what it is today. If the Lions win on Thanksgiving, there's a question of, did the Lions pull away enough? But we know the history of the Packers. This is a rivalry. Do you expect the fans to take over this Sunday today?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be not a terrible day there. It's going to rain.
It is.
So the field's going to be messed up. So those nice white, crisp Lion uniforms are going to be a little bit muddy, which Dan Campbell loves.
I like that.
But this will be, it's not going to be 20 below zero and snow and sleet in your face. It's going to rain. Yeah, they're going to show up. And I think what most Lion fans would do is they probably stayed the night in Chicago and then took the little trip up to Green Bay because there's nothing to do in Green Bay.
No. That's why I don't think it's going to look like it did last year. Like, I think the Lions fans are going to travel well. They'll get there. But because it was a Thursday night game last year, I don't want to take anything away from Lions fans, but most of Green Bay Packer fans don't live near Lambeau Field. They live in Milwaukee. Like, we're talking a drive up to Green Bay in the middle of the week. Early in the season, the game isn't division game, but it wasn't like for the division. I think they took the Lions. They didn't take them seriously and let Lions fans take over. They're going to do their best. The Packers put out a statement after that game last year. Don't sell your tickets to Lions fans. I don't think they're going to.
They will. And the Lion fans, they'll find any way to get tickets now. The Lions are in a different situation now. The Lions are in every game is must win. You can't lose a game. Green Bay today can't lose this game. So you got two teams who can't lose the ball game. And guess what?
What?
Somebody's going to lose.
Somebody's going to lose.
Right. So Lion fans are in the situation of this is a Super Bowl caliber team. And this is me saying that. And I've never respected this organization. I thought it was a clownish organization here in the middle of the city of Detroit, and shame on them for putting you through this torture. But now they're legit. So now, why wouldn't you go to Green Bay? Why wouldn't you try to take over their field?
I agree.
And you don't have to stay in Green Bay. You go stay in Chicago or Milwaukee if the German thing does something for you.
Oh, wie
and
geht's?
drive over.
I like Germans.
The only thing Green Bay,
modern
I
Germans.
tell you what, here's what Green Bay does have. They have that casino by the airport.
Oh, the casino. So, should I say it?
Yes.
So go ahead.
So it's a good thing J-Mo didn't travel with the team this weekend?
That is
God.
good. Yes.
Oh, God.
No, actually,
Oh, God.
it doesn't matter because the Lions stay in Appleton,
Appleton.
which is outside of Green Bay. It's like
That's where the airport is, right?
no. There's Green Bay, and there's the airport, and there's the casino. And then you go north. I think it's north, about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. That's Appleton.
Okay.
Because they don't even want to stay in Green Bay.
There's nothing to do.
There's nothing to do in Appleton either. So that's what you want.
You want it calm. You want peace. You want
You
calm.
want calm, peace, blah, blah, blah.
Fans-
So J-Mo could have gone on the trip and not gotten in trouble.
True. We'll get to him. Burn in the chat, Terry. He gave us a $5 super chat. Burn, thank you. He said it was a dormant rivalry, but it was always there. Now that they're good, I'm adding to his statement. Now that they're good, we can acknowledge it and talk about it.
Okay, it's a rivalry.
It's a rivalry. And JZJ, I see you in the chat. He says over under 2.5 trick plays today. We are going to talk about trick plays in just a couple minutes, JZJ. So I'm gonna.
We're not talking trick plays.
What are we talking?
Alternative plays.
Alternative.
Yes.
Should we just get into it?
They're no longer trick plays.
That's what I want. Let's do it. They're no longer trick plays, Terry.
Or how about this? Innovative plays.
I like that. They're not tricks anymore. We need to rewire our brains away from them being tricks. It's part of the offense. It's the innovation. Innovative plays, alternative plays. I put down, let's call them deceptives. You know how they call explosives?
I can go with that.
The big plays are explosives. Deceptives, I don't actually believe is a real word. Couldn't find it in the dictionary, but we're going to make it up.
You can make words up.
Deceptives. They do it for a reason. Ben Johnson does everything for a reason, including plays that some people like Xavier McKinney might think are running up the score on another team. I don't think Ben Johnson cares what anybody else thinks about him or the timing of the plays. He wants a innovative play or a deceptive on film, a touchdown in the red zone on film. David Montgomery throwing a touchdown pass to Laporta. St. Brown throwing a touchdown pass to Goff. Penei Sewell. He wants touchdowns on tape, so the defensive coordinators have to plan for that at all times. It's not just, you're going to fake punt on 4th and 4 in your own zone. It's when you expect David Montgomery to get the ball on the half-yard line and pound it in. Sorry, I'll pull it out for a play action. I'll throw the ball. Or Montgomery's running. Safeties can't just trust their instincts and crash the box. They got to be patient and make sure he doesn't throw the ball.
That's true. And you know what Ben Johnson has to fend off now?
What?
Players are coming up to him and say, hey, I got an arm too.
They do.
Penei Sewell wants to throw one. David Montgomery, we've already seen, wants to throw one. Gibbs wants to throw one. St. Brown.
They all.
Right.
Penei Sewell. Do you say Penei Sewell? Penei Sewell wants to throw. They all want to throw and run and cat. They're having so much fun.
I don't think people realize how when you do a deceptive play, it charges up a locker room. Everybody gets all giddy. Because here's what I hear about pro athletes. All they care is about money. That's all they care about. No. If you put in, I can't use the word trick, but deceptive plays.
Yeah.
They're like little kids. They get excited and they want to do it. And come on, coach, when we're going to do it? Come on, let's go. And they practice it. And then they kind of mess up the plays at first in practice. Then they perfect it because they want that play to be run.
Yes. So they perfect it in practice too. It's part of their week. It's part of what they do, and they're used to it. They know they got to perfect it so they can run it in the game to perfection.
To answer your question, Bull Moose, over or under
Bull Moose
2.5 deceptive plays, I think today's going to be under.
I think so too. Not to just agree with you.
Because of the weather.
Because of the weather.
And it's going to be muddy. And today, I mean, you may not, it's going to be, the team that wins today is going to be the toughest in the trenches.
Yeah. Yeah. Father Time, and we all know Mother Nature. Shout out Lil Wayne. And that just, you got to factor that in. They run them at certain times, but they are still focused. And I just think they're not gonna be reckless today. I do, Terry. I have beef with Ben Johnson, though. Just a little bit of beef. Because they do practice all these plays. And Ben Johnson, he crosses every T, dots every I. Just masterful work scheming this up. Stay scheming, like Rick Ross. All of what they're practicing, all the details, they're not practicing how to celebrate. And Terry, I tell you that because the last two innovative plays, the last two deceptives they've run, St. Brown threw his first touchdown pass to Jared Goff. And what does he do? What does Goff do? He chucks the ball into the stands. Yeah, David Montgomery throws to Laporta. Laporta chucks the ball into the stands. If I'm Montgomery and St. Brown, Terry, I want that ball. They need to. All right, Goff, you catch the touchdown pass, hang on to it, and give it to your boy.
Okay, I didn't see St. Brown do Thriller. I've seen some celebrations this year.
Yeah.
They're on a boat this year, so you must be missing the celebrations.
No, the celebrations are great. I'm saying Jared Goff and Laporta need to know not to throw the first touchdown pass of their teammate's career into the stands.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's a lot of excitement. They're not doing it maliciously,
and
but
I guess Goff wants to show that he's got an arm.
Yeah, he does. Well, the haters are still out there.
Right.
The haters are still out there, man. This offense, it's a masterpiece. It belongs in the Louvre. Ben Johnson's like the Mona Lisa, just with that smirky little look, just always over at the other sideline. Just, all right, whatever. It's in the Louvre. It's magical.
Ben Johnson does have that little bit of an asshole look when he's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
When they're doing everything and they're rolling up the points. He's got that little, like, Yeah.
He was at the Michigan-Oregon game yesterday, guys. He was perusing around the sidelines there.
Why'd you have to go there, Pete?
I'm just letting you know.
Why do
With
you have
that
to go
face,
there?
that look on his face, too.
We were having such a great show.
Oh yeah, didn't Michigan get clowned yesterday?
I just like, I love you, brother.
Oh, I know. I'm flustered, man. I'm flustered. Ben Johnson is cooking, it's just fitting because, Terry, after Halloween, it's holiday time. It's Thanksgiving. It's time for the Lions to feast. And they got an opportunity here. We don't know. We hear reports Jordan Love, the Packers starting quarterback, is playing. Not official yet. I actually think
He's playing.
I don't know why they would play him, but it seems like he's going to play.
Dude, really? You don't know why?
Well,
Green Bay's got to win this game.
they do. They do, but
Yep.
and I don't think it's as important. I don't want to say it's not important. I don't think it's as important as you guys were talking about before the show when
Why
we were.
not?
Because I think the longevity of Jordan Love, both for his career and in a playoff push, is more important than this one game to set them up for winning the NFC North, which is the goal.
Why are you in such a puss mood today?
I'm not. What are you?
You don't want to play Jordan Love. You want to trade for a tackle, even though everybody's healthy.
Super Bowl, baby. I personally, I can't decide if I would rather have Jordan Love or Malik Willis, because with the groin injury and knee injury, a quarterback leading the NFL in interceptions,
All right,
I kind of want him on the field.
When the Lions and Green Bay play 5 years from now,
Yes.
who's going to be the starting quarterback for Green Bay? Malik Willis or Jordan Love?
If he can stay healthy, Jordan Love.
It'll be Jordan Love. Just shut up. He is a young guy.
If he's healthy.
He's
He's a young guy. He's been in the league for 5 years.
He's still young.
He is.
I want you to be a man today.
It's my bar mitzvah day.
Yeah, something. Wow.
Yeah.
Where
Convocation.
did we get this guy from?
What?
What?
I just don't think.
I think we should rename this show the Terry and Punk Boy Show.
You don't want that. You don't want to find out what that drama mean. Get some drama mean.
What was that title, Terry?
The Terry and Punk Boy Show.
All right, I'll be right back in about 5
Yeah,
minutes.
come up with a graphic.
I'll be back in about
We're
5
change
minutes.
the title of the show.
Terry and Punk Boy. I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Well, let me rephrase it then.
Woodward and Shame.
Shame. Join me. Shame. I'm going to rephrase this question. If you're-
Please do.
as a Lions fan, I know you're not you're as unbiased as anyone in the media.
Observer.
You're observer. As a
Yeah.
Lion, erring on the side or drifting on the side of the Lions, would you rather see Jordan Love quarterback that team today or Malik Willis? Can't believe I'm even asking that. But it's a real question.
If I want to win the game, I'd rather see Malik Willis out there. He's not the long-term answer for Green Bay. But
Not the long term, no.
if I'm looking at Green Bay, Jordan Love needs reps. Jordan Love needs consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love is the future. If he can walk, he's playing. This is a essential game for them.
Yeah. Doesn't it feel to you, Terry, sometimes watching Jordan Love, it looks like, you got the devil and the angel on the shoulder. Forget the devil and the angel part, but it seems like he's got Aaron Rodgers on one shoulder and Brett Favre on the other. Sometimes he's this gunslinger who throws the ball into traffic. He leads the NFL in interceptions. Other times, he actually looks like Aaron Rodgers, making precise passes, not using his legs to run and scramble, but to evade pocket pressure. And he can be really good making throws on the run.
Doesn't that show you this is a guy trying to figure his game out?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't show you this is a guy still developing?
Yes.
So you play him against the Lions.
With a groin injury, with a knee injury? If we're talking long term, I'm talking about I don't care about the Packers, but if I were them, I would make sure that my quarterback is healthy for the playoffs. One bad interception that he threw last year was the end of their season. Otherwise,
you
he was
get
playing
into the
elite.
playoffs, first of all.
True. That's why they're 6-2. That's why they took care of business early. That's why freaking Jaguars
Hey, guys.
handed them that game.
Here you go, boys.
What? Funny, dude. You see that Terry and Punk boy on the screen? You're a clown. I just hope that.
You don't want them to play because you want the Lions to win. That's what's up with you.
Honestly, I can't decide if it would be better to have Jordan Love or Malik Willis. I'm gonna say Malik Willis. He's not a better quarterback, but he's not anywhere close to Jordan Love. But we talk about it every week. Takeaways are the most important thing. The team that wins the takeaway battle will very likely, if not assuredly, win the game.
That's true.
If you can get 2 interceptions on Jordan Love and Goff takes care of the ball like he's been doing at a historic pace, we still got Terry and Punk up there, don't we?
The chat is dying.
Are they? If you do that, you get some interceptions. I just hope, Terry, I hope that Jordan Love had his ears checked recently, because if you're listening to Brett Favre, there's a difference if he's saying, let it fly, and open fly.
You talking about people's zippers now, open fly?
Dude, you know the Wrangler open fly jeans? This is the Brett Favre specialty.
Oh.
Is anybody picking up on? I know the chat, please, I'm about to look down.
You're a little cold on that one.
I want you guys to understand this, because it was one of my better jokes of all time. It might be a little before
and nobody
your time.
laughed.
I know, that's why I'm freaking out here right now.
I'm glad you're not at the comedy club.
We love
well,
you, bro.
They blew your ass out of there.
Well, how about this, Terry? You got any spare change in your pockets?
I don't carry money around.
You don't carry money around? Neither does Jared Goff. In fact, like any spare change in his pocket, he's throwing those dimes. He's throwing them out of his pocket because he enjoys a clean pocket.
All right, beautiful.
He does. Brett Favre, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. It's a different ball. We know Brett Favre, he steals from the poor. You know, he takes money. He takes money from the poor.
Robin Favre?
He does. Well, Jared Goff, we're talking about jeans, we're talking about pockets. Jared Goff has clutch jeans. Like, he likes clean pockets. He's got the clutch gene, and he distributes the wealth to all of his offensive weapons. Jared Goff is the man. And that's all I have to say on the matter.
Now, why don't the Lions trade for a quarterback in case Jared Goff gets injured?
They would have. They would have if they weren't confident in Hendon Hooker. But I think they are. I think Hendon Hooker you can go 2-2 with Hooker because of how your offense is built.
Lions can't go 2-2 in a 4-game stretch.
With Hooker?
No, I'm just saying they can't go 2-2. They're in the phase. They're trying to win a division. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. You can't go 2-2. At least this franchise, I don't think can go 2-2 because they won't win the division. You can finish third in the division if you go 2-2. That's how essential all these games are. And this is the best division.
It is the best in football.
Normally, I wouldn't say this, but everybody's above 500. Best division in football. You can't go 2-2 in a 4-game stretch and expect to win this division and expect to go to the Super Bowl.
But if you go 2-2 and take care of business the rest of the way, you're 14-3. I think that gets you. I think that might get you still the number 1 seed in the NFC.
Okay, but if you go 2-2, you're going to drop another game somewhere or 2, so you win 12 games, maybe 11. It's a dangerous way to play.
It is.
And I'm surprised you wouldn't see that because you're in such a skittish mood today. My goodness.
I was in enemy territory all weekend. I was down in Columbus.
Oh.
And you said you met some people from Columbus up here?
I met some people up here from Columbus.
Come on.
Yeah, there was these 2 women. One moved up here, and she had her friend with her. Oh. And they were talking.
And they were with you?
They were rooting on the Ducks to beat Michigan, of course. Because, people from Columbus don't like Michigan.
They don't.
So they were rooting for the Ducks to beat Michigan.
1-0 rooting for another 0.
I happen to be. I happen to have had to sit through. I chose. It was. I don't want to say enjoyable. It was my choice. I sat through the Ohio State Penn State game. Got to get the feel of what an Ohio State bar is like. It's a different vibe. It's a different. It was hard. It was a lot of fun down there. Columbus is actually.
Now you have fun at the Ohio State bar.
No. What? That's for off air. The game was.
Anyway, Lions are playing the Packers.
Did you get into a fight?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Remember I told you I was recruiting Myles Garrett. I was going down to, because I'm not associated with the team, so it's not tampering. I just had to go get the scoop.
Did you tell people you were from Michigan?
I didn't. I wasn't wearing maize and blue. I wasn't wearing. I did have a Michigan license
You know what
plate.
you should have done? You would have got your ass kicked. He says, "Hey, I used to pitch for Michigan's baseball team." Arr.
You should have worn a
Say,
national
seriously?
championship T-shirt at the bar.
See the people beat your ass in the Columbus bar.
They might. While I'm bigger than most of them, they got the quantity. They had the quantity.
Yeah,
I
but
had nobody.
They put 8 people on you. You're dead.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Nothing I could do. It's like trying to tackle
So
David
you
Montgomery.
said it's different at the Columbus. How's it different?
It's this like eerie confidence that they knew, and it was an ugly game, that Ohio State-Penn State game. It was like they knew there were going to be ugly things happen. I missed the first half, so I think they like dropped a touchdown pass or dropped it going out of the end zone. They knew they were going to win that game.
But don't they always beat Penn State?
Yep.
Yeah, I think every good team always beats Penn State when it matters. But they took care of business. Man, some of their weapons on the outside, that freshman Smith and Emeka, they're trouble.
Fire
Michigan's
James
got
Franklin.
them in a month.
Fire James Franklin, dude.
We
He's
got
done.
problems, Terry.
He's done.
We got problems. But bringing it back up north,
Yes.
even more north to Green Bay, I
The
want to
NFC
talk.
North.
Well, we got 20 minutes left. I want to talk about the safeties. There are the game's 3 best safeties are in this game today.
Right.
Brian Branch, Kerby Joseph, and Xavier McKinney. All 3 lead the league in interceptions too. PFF has them ranked as the top 3 safeties.
Now, speaking of Xavier McKinney, are you upset by his comments about the Lions?
I'm not. I see how it could look to the other team. I don't care.
Now, for people who didn't hear, he said the Lions like to run the score up against people or dominate, whatever he used the terminology, and that
Embarrass.
embarrass, and that he kind of hinted that that locker room didn't really like that. But I'm not offended. I thought that was a compliment.
Yeah.
I agree.
Basically saying Lions are kicking people's ass and they don't care.
Yeah. We don't. First off, no one should care about kicking the Cowboys' ass. In the Titans game, they really didn't run up the score. Like, it was special teams,
And
dominance.
And here's the Titans were awful that day.
So bad. Their defense was actually okay, but we're talking about Khalif Raymond nearly breaking NFL records returning punts. Dorsey nearly taking one to the house. Like,
Now, what are you supposed to do? Every punt, take a knee
exactly. There's nothing.
inside the 10-yard line? Is that what you're supposed to do?
Tackle Gibbs. Like he ran for 70-yard touchdown run. Like, you can't just stop playing the game. People will get hurt. Like, could you put Hooker in the whole second half? You could have, but the Titans are still an
who
NFL
made
team.
a big block on that 70-yard?
What?
The guy that you're trying to get rid of, Taylor Decker.
He did. He
Right.
did.
Yes, he did.
I don't have a rebuttal to that.
So now you're trying to find his replacement.
No, I'm not trying to find his replacement. I'm trying to find a safety net, an emergency button, just in case.
Nice play there. Now get the hell out of town.
Yeah.
Right. We don't want you.
Spenny on Big D earlier this week, or maybe it was Friday. He brought up a question that I liked. Simple. Of the 3 safeties, Branch, Joseph, McKinney, who gets a pick today? Does any of them? I think one of them gets a pick at least. Which
About
one?
all 3?
I don't think all 3 get a pick. I think it's one of the Lions. I don't
Well,
think Jared
we know
Goff's pick throwing the ball.
Joseph's going to get one in the end zone.
As he does.
Brian Branch, I keep saying Brian Branch is going to knock the snot out of somebody every game. But I'm going to say Brian Branch will get the pick. He'll surprise me.
I don't want to agree with you, Terry. I want to say Kerby and Xavier McKinney, the ball hawks, the center fielders. But with how I think Green Bay is going to approach the game on offense, I think there's going to be a lot of dinks and dunks to the flats, the short passes. Get the ball in Jaden Reed's hand.
How about this? Brian Branch, fumble recovery.
This is why I would struggle at sports betting. I don't know if he's going to recover the fumble or he's going to be the one punching it out.
He'll recover it. How about that?
That's what you're going with?
So I'm a man. I just say what I feel instead of, the Lions. Ooh, Taylor Decker could get injured. Let's make a trade right now. Ooh, even though they need an edge rusher. That's what you said.
I think passes to the flats, get the ball to Jaden Reed, get the ball to Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave. There's going to be things happening in Brian Branch territory. I don't think Jordan Love is going to take too many shots deep. If Malik Willis is quarterbacking, he's not taking too many shots deep. So that's where I'm thinking about it. Brian Branch is going to control it.
Have you film studied Jordan Love?
Pardon?
Seriously, a serious question. Have you film studied Jordan Love? I mean, of
Not
how
in too
he
much
throws
depth.
and where he throws the ball. When he does drop back and throw long, it's always down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That sets it completely up for Branch and Joseph today to either make picks or turnovers. So I agree with what
In the end
Terry's
zone.
saying.
Yes, and all that data is compiled during games without Branch and Joseph on the field.
Hey,
Now they're playing Branch and Joseph, so I'm going to avoid the middle of the field because Kerby Joseph is there. It's like Parker Meadows in center field. He's going to get the ball.
Do you mind if I
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, legend.
Okay. Hi, I'm Matt Broder.
Oh.
You know,
He walked me
the
into that one.
Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he could be injured. I think the Lions should trade for a wide receiver because I'm scared of everything.
They don't need a wide receiver. Not walking into that one.
Why not? Because
They got plenty. They got J-Mo's out for 2 games, but they got Isaiah Williams and Khalif Raymond and Allen Robinson and Tim Patrick and Tom Kennedy.
And stop with the Tom Kennedy crap. But they could all be injured.
With white light.
They could, but there are many of them.
Let's dot your I's and cross your T's.
Fine, Terry, when Gio Manu is starting the NFC Championship game, we're going to revisit this conversation. And I don't like to be the guy that said I told you so, but I'm going to say I told you so.
You know what? If he's starting a game, I'll just take it. But what if he plays well? He's a big man.
He's a huge man. He's not ready. He's just not ready. That would just be. What if he's in the Super Bowl and you got George Karlaftis, Josh Uche, Chris Jones is eating up for Ragnow and Glasgow and Zeitler? Like, I'm sorry, Penei
you're in the
Sewell can't
Super
play
Bowl,
right
though.
and left tackle.
You're in the Super Bowl, a place you've never been.
Right.
I'll take it.
See, I have to win that game. I have to win. And you win with Taylor Decker or a competent left tackle starting. Penei Sewell can't play both at the same time. He can play both. Probably the best left and right tackle in the entire league, but he can't do it at the same time.
Last time I checked, and maybe maybe I'm behind the news or something. Taylor Decker is healthy, or at least healthy enough to play.
Yeah.
Taylor Decker is still out there. I'm not looking for his replacement right now.
Me neither. To be clear, me neither. You keep
If he was
walking me into
35
this.
years old, maybe.
I feel like I'm having a conversation with an ex. You're not hearing what I'm saying. It's not a replacement. It's a backup emergency option if you're in the Super Bowl and he gets hurt, just in case. It's insurance. You might have to pay a little something, but when you need it, you cash it in. You file your claim. See, I'm learning more about insurance these days.
I guess so.
The simplicity of it all. A bonus, though, we were talking safeties. Evan Williams, one of
What?
their stud rookies, isn't playing
Now,
today. He's
you're
out.
learning about insurance, right?
I am.
Can you file a claim before there's an accident? Because this is essentially what you want to do.
Fuck you, dude. You can't walk. You can't.
Can you just file a claim and say, you know what? I could use $6,000. I'm going
Well,
to file a claim.
the individual couldn't, but a scammy insurance or a scammy restoration company like the Gurr brothers, they can.
But that's wrong.
Right? It's wrong. It's fraud.
But that's what you want to do. You want to perpetrate fraud with the Detroit Lions.
Perpetrate fraud so he can't penetrate that offensive line.
Pardon you?
It's a P's.
Pause.
Stay in P. I don't know, man. I just think that offensive line and keeping Goff clean is the single most important thing you could do. And I worry about tackle depth. I'm not worried about Taylor Decker right now. My level of concern with him isn't that high. But I think now if he gets hurt, there might be an issue. There might be an issue.
You know what you can do?
What?
You can slide Penei Sewell to left tackle, which is the most important position. Put Skipper at right tackle. Who the hell cares? They'll
Totally
be
fine with that. For a game, totally fine. Not for 4. Not for who's got the most elite edge. Not you play the Steelers or the Niners with Bosa. Like, not for the elite guys. Like, I don't know. I'm feeling more. I'm feeling more scared now. You're putting that into my head. It's not fear. It's not fear.
No, you're the little scaredy cat.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Terry.
Were you bullied as a child?
I was. I didn't used to be
I
so
knew
tall.
it. I knew it.
I didn't used to be so tall. The bullying stopped in 10th grade.
Yeah, but the bully's still in the back of your
spurt.
mind, Mo.
Growth spurt.
The
No.
ghost that haunts him.
Kick guard and Alex Meese. They're my friends, like older brothers.
The ghost of bullies past.
Now, instead of me making fun of you for being a fraidy cat, you got a rumor.
I do.
You do. Tell us about it. Or is it inside scoop or a rumor?
It is. It's inside scoop.
Okay.
Not enough certainty for it to be like, this is happening. Like, take this to the bank. But
Just say maybe, kind of, sort of, could have happened.
sources trading for Carl Granderson of the New Orleans Saints, that conversation is starting to take real form. There have been talks about Harold Landry and Zadarius Smith and all these, Trey Hendrickson. Let's not forget about Carl Granderson. This is someone Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell seem to love. They got familiarity with him, familiarity with the Saints organization. He's 6'5", 275. He's that type of edge rusher that they like. He's not an absolute beast like Marcus Davenport or Hutch, but he's in that mold versus a James Houston or a Hassan Reddick type of speed rusher. Carl Granderson isn't your Hutch replacement. Maybe a Hutch and Derek Barnes hybrid, a little bit of everything.
So have they made phone calls
Yes.
about this? Is this your wish list?
No, there are phone calls being made about this. That I can tell you with 100% certainty. How far they've taken shape, they've moved forward. I don't know where they're at in the last 48 hours. A lot can happen in 48 hours.
That's
There's where
true.
my uncertainty, like, hey, this is happening, this is being talked about, but take it with a couple grains of salt.
So if Cleveland is driving a hard bargain about Zadarius Smith, Brad Holmes could say, hey, look, we talking to New Orleans too.
Yeah, we're good.
There's your boy, Broder.
There's Carl Granderson, beast. Younger, he's an athlete. Yeah. Hey, you want a third for Zadarius Smith? We're going to get Granderson for a 5th or a 6th. Enjoy.
He doesn't
Yeah.
like
Enjoy your
quarterbacks. I'm watching
32-year-old
his
edge
highlights.
rusher.
Yeah, and enjoy losing.
Yeah. If I'm them, I want as much money off the books, as much draft capital. I'm giving it. Take Deshaun Watson with him. It would never happen. I want as much money available as possible, especially if I'm the Cleveland Browns.
Maybe instead of talking to the Cleveland Browns about Zadarius Smith, maybe the Lions should be calling about their left tackle.
Maybe. Who is it? I think they just drafted him, right? Who is the Browns left tackle? Do you know, Pete?
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
No, I'm going to find out in 4 seconds. Jedrick Wills Jr. I'd want their backup tackle, DeJuan Jones. Isn't he was drafted like last year? Oh, Ohio State. That's okay. Taylor Decker's from Ohio State. Perfect. Yeah. Hashtag trade for DeJuan Jones. Let's get that baby
You know, that's
trending.
what's from Ohio State. Person everybody here loves still, Chris Spielman,
Love Chris Spielman.
Ohio State.
I love him.
Guys, a little fantasy update. Ezekiel Elliott did not travel with the Cowboys to Atlanta. Reports say he's been habitually late to team meetings. It looks like he's on the way out of Dallas.
Did you hear that? He talks kind of quiet. Ezekiel Ellis is not traveling with the Cowboys.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, he's been.
Was I really quiet? Did I use my
you know
pillow?
what?
Did
That
I
was
use
a
my
Jerry
pillow talk
Jones
voice?
thing.
I apologize.
I can hear you in my ear. Sometimes if I don't have it on, I can't hear through the
Gotcha.
through the glass.
Now, I don't understand why you bring back a guy
Right?
who's older and has been cracked in the knees and the back and everything. At running back, bring me a young guy.
Okay.
I don't care if I never even heard of the dude.
By the way, Mike G in the chat says Granderson out of Wyoming College. He says, Terry, be happy. Carl Granderson is a brother. Come on over, man. That's Mike G in the chat. Rando Smalls also said, there was a question he kept asking. Said, will someone answer my question? Thanks for the $5 super chat. With all offseason additions, is this team better than last year's with Hutch? So is this current... Let me try to... I think I understand the question.
Is this team without Hutch better than last year's team with Hutch?
Correct. That's what I took it as.
I say yes. But I also have another philosophy, is that when you lose a star player, you can withstand that loss for a game or two.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're going to find out if the absence of Hutch is going to really affect the Lions long term.
Mm-hmm.
So, so right here today, as we're standing here, because the Lions are killing people.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing things I thought I would never see. Not because it's the Lions, but because in the NFL, you don't kill people by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Exactly.
It just doesn't happen. They done it 2 and 3 games. And then in the Minnesota game, which came down to a last-second field goal, when they got the ball at the end, you knew they were going to march down the field and either score a
That's
touchdown
something you probably
or get
never
the
thought you'd
game-winning
say.
field goal. You just knew it. There was
Yes.
nothing Minnesota could do.
Nothing. This team is very good. Jared Goff is very good. You have that faith in those moments that we don't need to worry. Like, sure, there's some tension. It's the end of the game and we're losing, but there was no question you were going to get into field goal range with Jake Bates. If not, break one free and just score a touchdown.
Right.
Their blowouts have been in different ways. Special teams. Defense has played good in a couple of the halves. Big explosive plays, runs, innovative plays.
There you go.
Deceptives. It's been so fun to watch. They got the Packers here. This is game 2. Game 2 of their division slate. They're 1-0 against the Vikings. We got to start getting into our game predictions. Any last key points you want to share? Thoughts on this game? Again, Evan Williams, their up-and-coming star safety rookie, he's out. Jordan Love is questionable, expected to play. Josh Jacobs missed some time this week. They're a little banged up. So are the Lions a little bit, but the Lions are rolling. Terry.
Every NFL team is banged up this type of year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this game, here, I'm going to show my age, pardon me, but I used to love games like this. In the mud, raining, dirty uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not going to get that much with the Lions after this year. Well, after a couple years, because the Bears are going to be inside.
You're right.
Minnesota will be inside. The Lions will be inside. Green Bay is going to be the only outside game.
Yes.
But the game like this is going to be a mucker of a game. And
Games that people expect Jared Goff to struggle in.
correct.
It's outside the elements, but Terry, every struggle of Jared Goff, or every area of his game that people have looked to criticize or point out as his weakness, he's not only improved it, it's almost he's made it a strength. He's now the best quarterback under pressure in the NFL. He sets turnover records for not turning the ball over. He turns things into a strength. Maybe we see that today. You're outside, the elements are bad. What if Jared Goff just starts flanging it?
Well, he's clicking off things. He's getting rid of things. Jared Goff is not a top 10 quarterback. Jared Goff is not a top 15 quarterback. He's erased all that stuff. Now, like last year, he went 200 passes without an interception. Then all of a sudden, he started turning the ball over. Now he's gotten rid of that too. So, Jared Goff is on trial again, and he's always going to be on trial in this city. He will never erase the doubters, because that's not what we do in Detroit. We doubt the starting quarterback no matter what he's doing. Like when Matthew Stafford, when he was on the road, when he passed for 5,000 yards, people still said, whatever. He's Pat Stafford.
Yeah, they're constantly losing in games, so he has to throw the ball the entire second half. It's not the dude is talented. The dude was talented and still is.
Even this week, like Jared Goff has completed like 80% of his passes the last 5 games.
80 or like 84.
I was listening, well, whatever it is,
It's
80 something.
high.
I was listening to talk radio, and I heard a guy say that they needed to replace Jared Goff with Hendon Hooker. that Jared Goff isn't doing it for him.
At the end of the year,
Like,
you said?
as the starting quarterback or in the second half of last week's game?
Nah, starting quarterback.
See, that person should, with all the AI out there now and all the technology, there needs to be a way to block that person's phone from calling into radio stations. That's absurd.
It is.
It's absurd. I love Hendon Hooker. I think he's great. I don't want to ever see him. I hope that that's a waste of an investment from Brad Holmes. If that's the case,
Well,
Jared Goff played
insurance,
well.
because I know you like insurance,
Right. You never want to have to use it.
but
You
it's
just
there,
want it there.
and you feel good
when you need
and
it.
you're developing him like he could be a starting quarterback.
Yes. Just like we didn't want to see Teddy Bridgewater last year play a snap. You don't want to see the backup quarterback. That means your starter is doing everything he can to lead your team to a
Well,
win.
you didn't want to see Teddy Bridgewater because he's not good.
Both.
Right.
All of the above. A, B, C, all of the above. So what's your score prediction or any predictions you have about this game here? At Lambeau, 4:25, game of the week on Fox, with Tom Brady calling the game, I believe.
Yes.
What do you think?
Well, I'm going to go into my soliloquy now. In the NFL, the Lions are not going to go 16-1. They're going to lose a game at some point. And this game would seem to be one that they would lose. Green Bay must win. They're playing in the mud. Jared Goff is not good outside, but the Lions are on such a roll that they know they're going to win every game. They're not going to come in with fat heads. This is not going to be the game the Lions lose, or the 2 or 3 more games that they're going to lose. I predict, and I got to go for my the Broder 30.
You're doing it?
The Lions will win today's game 31-27.
Wow. Terry's in the 30s. 31-27.
Finally convinced me.
Terry, I love it. I'm coming over to you, Pete. You don't have to give your score prediction because you're part of the pregame show at 10, which I'll tell everybody about in just a minute. But your thoughts on the game, the direction it's headed.
Well, watch the weather. If the weather is obviously going to be a problem, watch out for Sonic and Knuckles to do their thing. I like that the weapon, as we call Mr. Jahmyr Gibbs, will be used quite often today, regardless of the weather. But I think the Lions will be grounding and pounding today. Pause. And watch for the secondary to take advantage of Jordan Love's irresponsible throws down the middle. Matthew Broder?
I'm with you on that, man. The weather will play a factor, but like Lil Wayne said, Father Time, and we all know Mother Nature. Mm-hmm. The Lions are built for this. They practice for this. They're ready for this. It's a huge game. They're going 7-1. I do think one of the safeties gets a pick, Branch or Kerby. I'm gonna go with Branch. He gets a pick. The Lions win the turnover battle. Gibbs and Montgomery still have big days on the ground, and Jared Goff has, maybe it's not 85%, but he has a 70-75% day. Doesn't turn the ball over, and the Lions sneak out of Green Bay, go 2-0 in the NFC North, set themselves up for that first seed in the division, in the NFC, and they do it with the 27-24 victory in Green Bay, Terry.
Ooh, no 30s. All right.
I went lower. I think they're going to get ahead. They're going to get the turnovers in Montgomery or Gibbs, depending on whose day it is, depending on how the game goes. Last year, the first one, it was Montgomery, 32 rushes or something. That very first game, he was dominant. Might be Gibbs because of the weather.
Well, here's another thing that I like, and he's criticized for this. In a game like today, elements, and it's going to be raining, it's going to be nasty.
Mm-hmm.
It's better, in my mind, to have a check down quarterback because you're doing safer plays, and St. Brown, he can still break tackles and stuff. Jordan Love wants to go more vertical. Now, when you do that, which is fine, but when you do that in a game like today, there could be that one pass where you go back, you slip, and then it goes either long or short or too high, and that's when Brian Branch gets his pick off.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's why it's going to be so key for however they do it to get some pressure on Jordan Love, so he has to move his feet. So he can't just sit in the pocket, plant his foot, and make that throw. We actually want him to move his feet a little bit this game.
You know what's going to be the key today?
What?
Shoes.
Yep.
I haven't heard a head coach talk about shoes as much as Dan Campbell has this week. They got to have the right cleats on today.
Right. That's true. And believe it or not, some teams go in with the wrong cleats.
Mind-boggling. All the technology, all the research they can do, and you don't have the right cleats. You can even screw cleats in and out.
Bro, I've seen offensive linemen go into games with this with no cleats. They just put on their basketball shoes. Idiotic.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Terry, Alan W. in the chat before we wrap this up says he's had a strong feeling for the past couple days that Amik Robertson will get a pick off Jordan Love.
That's possible. He's playing better. He's a factor.
Mm-hmm. He's
So
a
I can
puncher.
see that.
He's the one who keeps
He's
punching
a puncher.
the ball
Yeah,
out.
he's a puncher. Now, maybe he causes the fumble and Branch pounces on it. But, yeah, Amik is neat.
He might get picked on today. So he might. That's a really good thought, Alan W. Now that I'm digesting it live on air. The Packers, they may not have a number. Jaden Reed, you could call a number one. They have a plethora of number twos and some good tight ends. You're probably not going to pick on Carlton Davis or Brian Branch or Kerby Joseph. You might pick on Terran Arnold, but if you're looking for someone to attack, maybe Jaden Reed in the slot with Amik Robertson on him. Maybe you're trying to go after him. Amik Robertson has got to step up. All of these reasons are why you need pass rush. So when they start picking on some of your, I don't want to call him a weaker coverage defender, but not your number one cornerback. Or
Correct.
not Brian Branch. You
Less
need those players
experience.
to step up. Yeah. So this was Woodward and Main Street. Terry, like you mentioned at the beginning, this was the start of the Woodward Sports lineup for Lions game day from 10 to 12 in these very seats.
Actually, this one was not Woodward and Maine today. It was the Foster and Wormboy show.
A Worm Boy now.
That's
Worm
not the
Boy.
title. That's not the title.
Punk Boy. There it is. Terry and Punk,
Punk Boy.
I'll take it.
All right, boys.
Lions are bullies. I'm cool with that.
Okay.
10 to 12, Neil Rule, Sean Belizean. They got the pregame show. A lot more X's and O's. They talk fantasy with Pete. They talk betting with Pete and JB.
Yep.
You know Neil and Sean. Their rhythm, it's fire. I encourage you guys to watch that. Live watch party on Woodward Sports Network at Hayes Social starting at 4:25 or maybe a couple minutes before. The Woodward Heavyweights, they host that. They have a lot of guests. People change seats. It's a lot of fun, the live stream. And then post-game at Hayes Social in Shelby Township. Stick and Anson Wells, they host the post-game show. They take calls now. Got to be the most elite post-game show in the state. So much fun watching them go at it, especially you got Anson, who's SOL, or he's coming out of it. Stick is Mr. Optimistic, loves Goff. They got a good rhythm themselves. So, Terry, Woodward and
Have
Main
fun.
Street, pregame show, live watch party, postgame show. As always, this was a pleasure.
I was a little disappointed in you today, but I'll get over it.
You will. I'll see you in a week.
Yes, I'll
Actually, I'll
be
see you
here.
in 24 hours.
That's right. 24 hours. We're back here, 7 a.m. Monday morning.
Let's go. Everyone, enjoy your Sunday. Go Lions. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. This was Woodward and Main Street.